Okay everyone, in this short video I'm going to be taking a look at the new Fanatec load cell pedals that arrived earlier this week. I pre-ordered these at launch. I think it was the 26th of November on a Black Friday deal. I believe I paid €120. They've now gone up to I think €140. So I got these after already having a set of CSL pedals with clutch, so I'll now have a spare clutch pedal. This will replace the existing clutch pedal, and then the brake will become the clutch. So I'm going to be having a quick look at them, give you my initial impressions of them, and tell you if I think it's worth it from a user's perspective. Alright, first of all, this is the packaging that it comes in. So I've literally just opened them up. As per usual, pretty well packaged to ensure it doesn't get damaged in the shipping. So in the box, we've essentially got a USB cable and a RJ12 cable and a Allen key, the pedal itself, and some stickers. Okay, just looking at the side, we've got a RJ12 socket for load cell, and on the other side we've got one that goes to the wheelbase, and alternatively you can wire this directly to your PC with the USB cable. I believe it's either one or the other. You don't want to use both at the same time, as that can cause issues. And yeah, this is the load cell sensor. So as that U-shape piece of metal bends and deflects, it'll change the resistance on the circuit, and that's what gives you the reading. So this is pressure based rather than the existing Hall based magnetic sensor on the brake pedal I'm using at the minute. So the shock system here, that's fixed. I don't believe you can change that currently. The sensor's rated for up to 60 kilos, and that's not to say you can put 60 kilos of pressure. I believe beyond 60 kilos it just doesn't register anymore, but judging by the design, I don't know how much leverage you'd actually get, whether you'd easily be able to max that out. We'll see. From the YouTube videos that I've seen so far, most people seem to be satisfied that that's more than enough, so we'll see. It comes with the standard plastic faceplate. So I did pick up the I think it's the performance tuning kit. Let me just grab that. I picked this up just because I was ordering it. I wanted to save on the shipping and not have to order these again separately. So I bundled these in. I'm not going to try them out in this video, but I'll probably connect them at a later date. Mainly because I just want to see how I get on with them as they are, because this is what I'm used to driving with, and driving with socks. So with a stiffer brake pedal, I might need to wear trainers or get some racing shoes, we'll see. But yeah, that's about it. I'll unplug my existing pedals from the rig now, and we'll compare them. Okay, so I've now taken the pedals off the pedal deck, and just for a quick comparison, so this is the existing clutch, which is going to be spare. I might actually use this as a handbrake now, potentially, if I can get a bar to attach to it, and if it will work in conjunction with these as well. Anyway, the other thing I want to show you, so this is the existing brake pedal that's got the memory foam insert, which I'm actually going to leave in. So I'm going to move this over to the clutch position. This will be spare, and then the load cell is going to go in the middle. But I'm going to leave it in just so I can compare the brake pedal, standard brake, to the load cell brake, and I'll map them both as brakes and do a few laps. Right, now that I've got them side by side, so this is the load cell pedal and this is the original brake pedal, I thought I'd just show you the difference in the travel. So I'll just try and get a side shot here. So in the background is the original brake pedal, so I can quite easily with one hand push that down to that distance. This, quite a lot of pressure, you can see it starting to lift off the desk. It's about as far as that will go, so clearly a massive difference in travel and pressure. So I'll have to see. This could be potentially too stiff. Okay, so I've now got the load cell wide up in the middle, and I've moved the old brake over to the clutch position. So the RJ12 cables are labelled, so one end goes into the load cell here, and then if you follow the cable round, it says wheelbase load cell, which refers to this socket here on that side. So one from there to there, and then the old brake, which is now acting as a clutch, goes into the clutch socket here, which means the brake socket is now empty, and then we want to use either the USB to the PC or the RJ12 to the wheelbase, so I'm going to use that. Okay, just so you can get an idea of what I've rigged up to measure the pedal travel. We've got a tape measure here on an arm. It's not exactly perfect because obviously the pedals will move in an arc, but that should be enough to give us a guide of how much they're moving, at least approximately anyway. So one nifty thing I'll show you first is on the Fanatec steering wheel, you can press the little button here. Most wheels have this option to bring up the setup profile, so this is on profile 1, and if you turn the spunky switch to the left, or push it to the left rather, it brings up the braking force, so you can on the fly change the sensitivity of the brake force, as you can see on the Fanatec app. So I'll turn that back off. So I believe when it came from the factory, it was set to 35%. So I don't know if that's like what Fanatec recommend as your starting value, or what exactly, but that's how it came. So I'll just give you a quick example of what this looks like. On the screen on the far left, that's the accelerator pedal, and this is the original brake pedal with the foam. So as you can see from the tape measure here on the right, if I just zoom my screen a bit so I can see, if I push the brake pedal, the original brake pedal, all the way to the bottom, and that's in line with the accelerator, that's roughly 70 millimeters of travel, or 7 centimeters. So that's kind of what I'm used to now. With this, with the load cell kit pedal in the middle, if I push this up to maximum, so there, we're just shy of 20 millimeters. I'd have to zoom this in, but I'd guess that's around the 18 millimeter mark, which for me is nowhere near enough. I think the ideal for me would be somewhere about there, so maybe even halfway, so 30 to 40 millimeters I think would be about right. Actually, where the sponge kicks in at the minute, the foam, that is around the 4 to 5 range. So anyway, if we go back to this pedal and we want to max it out, and I put like absolute maximum force, we're on 30 mil, maybe a bit more, 30 to 35, and that is probably beyond what the scale's going to register. So we'll try turning that up. So we put that up to 100%. Actually, we'll start at 90. So where we're kicking at 90 is about 30 millimeters of travel. Let's go a bit higher. And this really is quite a lot of force. So yeah, I'm already maxing out at that point. Let's go one more notch up to maximum. I can hear my chair squeaking with the strain. So yeah, I think it's rated so it's beyond 40 millimeters. There's no more, and that to me, I'm actually having to physically lean back in my chair. The chair's even creaking a bit, so that shows you how much force we're having to put in. But that's the maximum amount of travel, and as I was saying, I think it's at least about 10 millimeters too short, maybe even 20. So anyway, that's gives you an example of the range of movement and how it corresponds to the input. What feels, so that's way too heavy for me. I think probably I probably want to go about there. She's going beyond what it can be set to. So probably about 65 is about right, which then only gives me 25 millimeters of travel for that amount of force. So I think the problem here is the elastic blocks that are in the load cell kit. I think really there needs to be an alternative set of softer ones, and also I think the travel distance needs to be larger than what it's coming as. Again, this is my personal preference. We're given 70 on the original. I think maxing out at half that range is quite a big difference, and I think I'd be happy with probably something in between the 3.5 and the 7, so probably about 5 would be perfect for me. But obviously there's no adjustment at the minute. There's no alternative to swap the rubbers out. Hopefully Fanatec will start producing some like they've done for the V3s, but I think really, given that this is an entry-level load cell kit and it's going to have broad appeal, I think it should, as a minimum, be shipping with alternative rubber stoppers in between. So, yeah. What I'll probably do next is just do a couple of laps, and I'll leave it on 65, which is my preferred setting, and we'll see how we get on. So the key thing to look out for here is the braking indicator, and seeing how much a trail brake through some of these corners rather than the overall lap time. So I can't do the minor adjustment there on the brake, so I'm just losing that little bit of detail. I'm either on the brake too much or not enough. And I'm relying on my gears a bit more. And on that last corner there, you see I jumped off the brakes a bit too early. Trail braking wasn't quite right. So now I've switched to putting on some trainers or sneakers if you're from the States. And I did actually find this helps quite a bit. The extra foam in the trainer acted as a dampener to give me a little bit more foot travel and distance, and it just made things a lot easier for me. So I think an extra 10 mils to 20 mils on top of that would be sort of the perfect range for me to modulate the brake distance or brake power.
you'll notice on this last corner here, tries to trail brake, but the brake power just drops off very quickly.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best.
And then finally, I'm just going to show you the original brake pedal wearing socks, just so you can see the extra level of detail I've got on the braking, going around corners, trail braking. You can see me decrease the brake power gradually or in stages, where compared to using the load cell pedal, I'm pretty much just dropping off most of the power, and that's really just because I can judge the brake power much more easily, and a large part of that is because I've driven with these pedals a lot more. But I think why I'm struggling is the amount of range isn't enough for me. It's not really the pressure problem, judging the force, it's just my ankle position I'm sort of struggling with it. So who knows, maybe with a couple of weeks more practice I could get the load cell pedal to perform in a similar way. But from what I've driven so far, which is probably 3 or 4 hours with the load cell, I just can't get to grips with it in the same way that I can with the original pedal at the moment. What we'll see on this last corner here, there's 3 clear stages of braking.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
So after several hours of use, what do I think? So far I found the maximum pedal travel of 40mm a bit too short and also too heavy for my liking. As a comparison for those who have used the Logitech G29 brake pedal, I'd say this feels a lot stiffer with a lot less pedal travel. Adjusting the brake force to my preferred value of 65% meant that the pedal travel was reduced to a mere 25mm, which for me simply just wasn't enough travel for me to learn to trail brake efficiently. I did however find the load cell pedal felt slightly better wearing trainers, as this did add some initial dampening to the pedal to give you that bit of extra foot movement. I do fully admit that using a load cell pedal is all about building up the muscle memory for pedal force rather than position. However, for me it just wasn't enough travel range and fidelity for me to feel the difference in the force. Perhaps with a few weeks of practice I might improve, but after my first few hours of use I haven't enjoyed it. Now, just for reference, I brought up a chart for the High-Sync-Veld sprint pedals or pro pedals. They give a excellent brake force curve chart which basically shows you the relationship between pedal travel and force applied by switching out some of the rubber stoppers. So I'd say the Fanatec load cell ones are probably around the 4th line in from the left. It's just approximate, of course, and the standard ones are way far right on the furthest right line and probably much lower down. Now, please take this information with a massive pinch of salt, as this is pure speculation on my part, and this is brake force information from a completely different manufacturer. But based on this, I think I've got a rough idea how I'd expect a brake pedal to behave under different forces, and for me the ideal brake pedal would be on the graph just about here, around the 50mm mark. Now obviously there's no way to know this until I actually try a pedal that has got that range of adjustment, but I thought it was just a useful chart to put up there to see the possible ranges of how these pedals could perform. Now, I suspect Fanatec are trying to emulate a race pedal from a GT3 car. I'm guessing, as I've never driven a GT car. However, I suspect the real thing would also have a bit more adjustability in terms of pedal travel. Compared to a real car or a sports car, which I have driven, I'd say no, this doesn't feel anything like a hydraulic brake pedal from a real car, in my opinion. So the next thing I want to talk about is who this pedal is for. So I'd say, really, this is for someone that's got a solid rig to attach it to. This won't work well on carpet unless you are able to mount it to something sturdy, such as a wooden block. Also requires someone that has a rigid race seat. So using my Sparco car seat, which is fairly sturdy, it isn't a rigid race seat, so a maximum compression on the brake pedal, I have noticed some flex on the back of the seat. So I wouldn't really recommend using this on reclining seats. I'd also say this pedal is for someone that likes their pedals very firm and they're happy with a very short pedal throw, and someone who races in shoes or trainers and not really a sock racer. In terms of price, €140 for the pedal alone, I don't think the load cell kit makes good value when you compare it to the complete V3 pedal set, which is €359, which gives you all the pedals with more adjustability and other features such as the metal pedal plates, pedal vibration motors and other upgrade options which aren't currently available to the load cell kit. Therefore, if you're trying to decide between the complete CSL load cell kit at €199 or the V3 pedal kit at €359, I'd probably just spend the extra money and go with the V3, which has the extra adjustability. Or alternatively, just go for the standard CSL pedal, which is the cheaper option at €79. Will I be returning this? Due to the return shipping cost to Germany, I don't think so. I'll probably stick it on eBay and put the money towards an upgrade to something else, or maybe hold out a little longer to see what official brake performance kits are released. Hopefully there is something similar to what has been released for the V3. I suppose modding it myself is an option, but given I'm probably going to sell it on, I'm not that keen to mod it myself. So for now, I'll just continue using the original brake pedal and see what happens. So, final thoughts. In summary, I think this is the first Fanatec product I've been disappointed with. It's just not for me. No doubt some people like how it's currently set up, but the lack of adjustment is this product's biggest weakness. That said, I'm sure there'll be people that are very happy to use it and will consider it a major upgrade from the standard pedal. Now that a lot of users are starting to get their hands on it and not just the initial YouTubers, I'll be very interested to see what most people make of it. So overall, I really wouldn't recommend this to someone unless they know for sure that they really want a short throw, stiff brake pedal. In my opinion, the best way to go is to either go for the cheap entry kit or spend a bit more and go for the V3 pedal kit or another brand that offers a lot more adjustability. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.
Toto?
Yes.
It's called a motor race, okay? We went car racing.